there this morning as Hawley's kick-out meltdown cost the Tigers. David Mundy ice cool as he sinks a wasteful Richmond, robbing them of a top 4 berth. We speak to stars Ivan Marriage and Lockie Neal. Boomer Harvey celebrates 400 in style, 2 goals to lead North to a big win over the Lions. While tensions flare between Paddy Ryder and Brendan Goddard as the Power turn it on. Gun midfielder Hamish Hartlett joins us in the house. And as the Hawks juggernaut rolls on, Colt hero Matty Spanger is in the joint. Plus, Ablett down as the Crows cruise and Stevie Mutlop does it again for the Cats. It's a menu you won't find anywhere else, action-packed, fully loaded and ready to dominate. Strap yourself in, it's time for the mighty Sunday Footy Show. Good morning, massive round 17 of football and a huge show to boot today, and the whole crew along for the ride as well, including the King of Geelong, Bill Brownless, National Nathan Brown and his team of publicists, the Quill-winning Damien Barrett, the 11-time winner of the AFMA Award, the 5-time All-Australian Matthew Lloyd, and of course the Collingwood Premiership star and St Kilda great Luke Ball. And they all watched this round of football. It's been fascinating and some good games of footy too, and a shocker on Friday night. Hawthorn defeated Carlton, who scored as many goals as Real Madrid down the road. Adelaide over the Gold Coast yesterday. Geelong still got eyes on September with a win over the Giants, who've hit the skids. Fremantle over Richmond in a ripper. Port Adelaide had some scares last night against Essendon, and North Melbourne celebrated and franked Brent Harvey's 400 games with a big win over the Brisbane Lions. She looks like this, the ladder into round 17. Fremantle on top, Hawthorn the mover, West Coast Sydney epic today. Richmond a lost opportunity, 5th but not done on top 4. Adelaide 6th, you think they're home. Bulldogs, big one soon against Collingwood. North Melbourne creep back in, and above. They could be the wrecker on the way home. Giants and the Cats got the job ahead. Cats still hanging in. Collingwood and Port at 12th. And Port still just saying, don't forget about me. Not yet done. St Kilda down, going around for practice.
Good ladder.
It has been a ripping round of football. And Nathan Brown, the Tigers missed a moment yesterday, one that they might rue come the end of the season.
Yeah, they did. They should have won this game. They had 9 more inside 50s, 18 more contested possessions, so they beat Fremantle where they needed to. But it was a terrific game of football. It wasn't the highest class game of football, but it was a finals atmosphere. They led most of the day, apart from a few minutes in the second quarter. And at the end of the game, David Mundy put it through, but certainly a missed opportunity.
Did they blow it?
They did blow it. They should have won that game. They were clearly the better side out there for the day. And at the end of the day, they made a couple of mistakes. Kocher missed a goal late. Dustin Martin missed a goal. They got
deviated from the plan.
But they'll miss top 4 because of it, I reckon.
Yeah. Well,
unless they can beat Hawthorn this week.
It wasn't just because of that, Brownie. Damien Hardwick was at pains to say that after the game. They hit the post 5 or 6 times in the last quarter, and blokes who you'd usually expect, Lordy, to go back and put them straight through the middle. Ben Griffiths there, played a reasonable game. Chrissy Newman, the ex-skipper. It's not a bad kick, but just drifts into the post. This one here's just got to go through the big sticks, doesn't it?
28 scoring shots to 22, so they had all the play, 10 goals, 18. These are bad misses. This one, obviously, not the worst one, but this next one, they're just goals you've got to kick. And it's amazing how it just grows within a team, how you lose confidence.
I think had 41 inside 50s, I think.
Yeah, they had 11 more Richmond on the day.
Here's National Nathan Brown.
With the amount of zones in football at the moment, it's hard to get the ball in your end often enough, and it was a real game of zones yesterday. And Richmond almost missed an opportunity to have the ball in their zone, but too often. But Fremantle, their kick-outs yesterday, I want to show you something they did at the MCG, which they've been trying to do at Subiaco. They'd pull all their players wide on either side, and then they'd have somebody come back through the middle. And they just had great field position from this, and it happened all day. And they were able to get out the defensive end really easy. Hasn't worked at Subiaco. Have a look at this. They all get around Aaron Sandland. So everyone thinks they're going to Aaron Sandland. Then they bring it up the middle. Look at the field position they get here. They score heavily from the kick-outs yesterday. All the players out here, they come into the middle again. This hasn't happened that often this year. It hasn't worked for them. Again, all the players out this side, one drops in here. And when Fremantle kicks 7 points to 0, it's probably the end of the game where that was.
Wider MCG, it would help them there.
Certainly did.
Taken 17 weeks, but you proved yourself Seg 1 plasma worthy.
Yeah, well done.
That was very good.
I tell you what,
Bill, they were undisciplined at times.
They were, and have a look at this. This is unsportsmanlike behaviour here. Dustin Martin just gets his water bottle. Main's having a shot at goal, 30 metres out. The umpire sees it. Look at this. A little spray of the water bottle here, and the umpire says unsportsmanlike behaviour. 50 metres to main, takes him to the goal line.
I loved Rossi's comment to the journo. I asked him about it after the game. He said, well, you wouldn't like getting squirted in the face, would you? And it's probably fair.
It's within the rules, that's right, isn't it, Paulie? Is there a
there
rule
a
in
rule?
place? You know
Yeah, 3 years ago, they changed the rules to say that if something like that did happen, it was up to the umpire's discretion to pay a free kick, and the umpire was right there yesterday, and he paid the free kick. After the game, I was there live, and I didn't catch the cameras, but Jack Rewalt on the ground, absolutely belting the ground, got up and was abusing everybody around him. He was so upset, and then Big Ivan Maric came up, just gave him a big bear hug and said, settle down, mate. That's how much it means to some of these players, and a big missed opportunity for the
Who
Tigers.
was he said to be abusing? Like teammates?
Well, he was just yelling. I don't know whether he was abusing
Frustrated.
teammate, but he was just full-on yelling, and Big Ivan Maric, the cool head, came over and gave him a big bear hug.
We'll ask Ivan Maric about it a little bit later. It was a big night for Richmond, as Damien Harbuck said. It will make or break them. Paddy Ryder had an impact last night. He was probably the difference against his old side. Kicked 4 goals.
He was late in the game, Hutchie. He kicked 4, 3 in this last quarter. Scores were all tied up at three-quarter time, and Paddy's kicked 3. So there was a fair bit of venom in the game. We'll get to that shortly. But Paddy Ryder, just moments like this. It's great. We heard James Hird during the week say we are badly missing Paddy Ryder. So he's the player that they lack at Essendon. They just have not got a tall that can go up against these monster ruckmen that are dominating. Steinberg did a brave job for 3 quarters, kept Paddy to 4 disposals, but Paddy turned the game after three-quarter time.
They're still seething that he left the club, aren't they? And some players, and it's being led by Brendan Goddard, are of the view, Hutchie, that he left for reasons other than the WADA situation. And Goddard expressed that view on Footy Classified some weeks ago. And Ryder last night too knew that Goddard would be coming for him during the game.
Look, I think there's... well, I do, but I think there's more to that than...
Wasn't just a starter.
Yeah, I think there's more to that.
His management only last week, though, stated 100% that was the reason, the Asada factor. On this studio, actually, on a Sunday footy show, Paul Connors. You're saying there's more to it?
You have to take that up with him.
You don't, though, do you?
No, I'm not in a position to say, Hutchie, to be honest.
Nah. BJ got fired up a little bit, but I expected that from him.
Got to be in his bonnet about it, Goddard. James Hird, post-match, was giving Ryder no credit for the Port Adelaide win, despite the 3 goals in the last quarter.
No, not really. I thought Paddy was held pretty well for 3 quarters. I thought he was lucky. Certainly the free kick that he kicked the goal with Steinberg on him, was a lucky free kick, kicked one off the ground. I think he had 4 possessions at 3-quarter time. So, I didn't think, no.
Hey, another big moment in the game last night. There's 3 or 4 of them, Bally. I want to ask you, can you understand these incidents? This is the ruck infringements and free kicks that are going against ruckmen. So this one went to Lobie. So no one has... All the players are just shocked. They're wondering, who's this free kick going to?
Are you shocked too, Lobie?
We were on the night. I saw Joey Danner on the boundary line saying, what are these free kicks for? This one went to McKernan. So he's looking around going, is it against me again? So it's something that the AFL has to come out this week and clarify because everyone's confused.
Yeah, there appears to be a bit of an overreaction to the whole ruck contest.
Third man up.
What's happening? You work day to day in at the AFL in the footy department. Surely you're privy to these conversations. What's happened in there?
I'll stop you. I'm not. So
You spend time in there during the week.
yeah, but I'm not privy to those conversations.
What's happened in the headquarters?
I'm not in the umpiring department, actually.
But there's mass confusion around the competition right now on ruck, on infringements.
Third man up.
Third man
Well,
up.
it started with the third man up during the middle of the season. It was the Geelong game that probably brought it to a head with Stanley and Blitzhalves, wasn't it? And as I said, that looks like a bit of an overreaction to ruckman not being able to have a free run and jump at the ball.
Oh, it's all about Boomer, boys. That's who we should be talking about. Oh, what a night. Yeah, no doubt about that.
Damien, you wrote a very inflammatory column during the week on afl.com.au suggesting that he might play somewhere else next year. Were you muckraking?
Well, you obviously didn't read the column because that wasn't what it was about. That was a suggestion. So
Kangaroos took offence.
No, that's fine. But not on
Brett
that.
Harvey's week.
No,
He's
North
suggesting he
Melbourne
might be
and
playing somewhere
Brett
else.
Scott appallingly misread the Brent Harvey situation. Appallingly misread the Brent Harvey situation. He made it about the future rather than the moment. And the moment was 400 games of footy. It's worth celebrating. Sometimes we get so caught up in the future, you forget the now.
But you didn't do that. You didn't celebrate it. You wrote about next year and him playing somewhere else.
Because Brad Scott had put that on the agenda about the future of Brent Harvey being the biggest issue. The biggest issue for Brent Harvey and Brad Scott when he returned from the back surgery he had was that 400 moment last night. It was lost, Hutchie, because Brad Scott made him a sub in the subs fest, which is fine. He's got every right to do that. But then when he says if he doesn't want to listen to my words, he won't listen to my actions, that's putting that story on the agenda. And then he then continually refers to the future being unknown. Brent Harvey is entitled to know right now if he's playing next year. It's just one spot on a list. It doesn't mean he's going to be given and granted a senior game. He's entitled to know, though, after 20 seasons of footy for the one club, that moment is going to allow him to go into next year.
So if he wasn't going on, you would argue that Brad Scott should tell him that he's going to retire him before he plays his 400th game.
Well, that's nothing what I wrote, but...
No, but if you're going to stick to that theory,
if he's
you have
made
to
that
work
decision,
both ways.
If he's made that decision, well, why wouldn't you tell him? But that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about next year and Brent Harvey wanting to go on and being given the opportunity. What I did say with regards to where he could be was in reference to Brad Scott playing the game that I'm not going to commit to Brent Harvey. Well, Brent Harvey can play that game too, Hutchie. And Brent Harvey's not happy about it. Brent Harvey can say, well, if you're not going to let me play at your club, I'll take some off.
You're saying Brent Harvey's not happy with the Kangaroos?
He's not totally happy with how this 400 milestone has been managed by Brad Scott.
Yeah, the other big story yesterday afternoon was Gary Ablett, and another injury. Looked innocuous, but when you look at it closely, the knee does go. It's his teammate McKenzie who falls across his leg. They're saying 4 weeks, Bally, but you may as well just put him out for the rest of the year.
You'd think so. It looks a little tweak of the medial and perhaps a bit of meniscus, I think, which was diagnosed at quarter time, but he'll clearly have scans, Lordy. But you're right, if it's a 3 to 4 weeker, they might as well write it off as a year from hell for Gaz and get him cherry ripe for next year.
It's been symbolic of their whole season, both he and the club. But interestingly, Rodney Eade seemed to infer that it was ground-related, the injury.
The sub's just been made. Gaz no good.
No, he's not. He got caught in the carpet. So his leg, and it looks like a meniscus. So it looks like, I would think that probably even it's 3 or 4 weeks, probably a year. So it's a bit unfortunate. It
didn't look like he got caught in the carpet, so you can only assume he meant grass because...
Yeah, we'd love some clarification this week because they'd be disappointed the ground at Amy Stadium. Adelaide Oval, sorry.
Had soccer on there
Adelaide
during the
Oval,
week.
Yeah, so
anyway, I think they'd react to that pretty strongly. Harley Bennell, he did a fantastic interview with on the Footy Show. He returned and played really well. He had 39 touches.
Yeah, he was scratchy, wasn't he? He was rusty, but it was a very, very good return to footy, given what he'd been through. And he's pledged to make the best of the remainder of 2015. He wants to be and allowed to run his contract at that footy club, which takes him into 2016. I still expect, though, Hutchie, for the conversations to be had in the trade period about Harley Bennell. But he's making all the right sounds, and having spent a little bit of time with him last week, he's making, to me, a genuine effort to rectify what has been a very troubled
took responsibility too. He said, it's my fault. I'm going to blame Carmichael Hunt. And 39 possessions, whether they'll scratch you or not, that's a fantastic effort from a man who was under pressure.
Hey, Bill, the Cats went up to the nation's capital yesterday and returned with the 4 points, and it was a very, very important win. It gets them ahead of the ledger again.
Yes.
And it was probably on the back of early. It wasn't a lot of highlights in the game, but probably on the back of 2 players, in particular Stevie Motlop, Hutchie.
I want to ask you about this, Luke. Leon Cameron left him unmanned as the loose on the wing for the first 20 minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah, the Giants were really poor in the first half. I'm going to touch on that in a sec. But yeah, you're right. He seemed to just roam and with freedom, and he had 12 odd possessions and a goal in the first quarter and set the game up. And this bloke here, a lot of them went to him, and Tommy Hawkins was just too big and strong for young Aidan Corr. He taught him a lesson and ended up with 5 goals. So those 2 players, very important.
Motlop is with his pace because Geelong aren't that quick through the middle there.
We ask you every week.
Oh, yes, he'll be.
How was Aidan Corr yesterday?
How was Aidan? Well, as I said, they stuck with him, but he was giving away about 10 kilos.
He sat next to him on the plane, didn't he? On the way home.
Yes, I did. Yep. He played all right.
Did you recognise him?
Did you recognise
Not
him?
initially. Kicked had 5 kicked on him.
Will you show him the highlights of Tommy Hawkins kicking 5?
Tell the story.
Possibly, yeah. No, I might have actually had the iPhone out showing the highlights. Didn't realise I was sitting next to the fullback had 5 kicked on him. Right.
So that cuts him deep to the... Chris Scott, he wasn't happy at three-quarter time. Have a look at Chris Scott here. This is what we love, the old-fashioned spray. Watch Josh Walker here, just to your right too. He gets a bit of a fright here at one stage. Right about now. I love that. Good on you, Scotty. Get into him. Get him over the line.
They didn't have much to celebrate yesterday, but this was a great goal from Toby Green early. Kicked the first goal of the game over the top of his head, spoils the ball. Jimmy Bartel misses the tackle over the top of the head. That's a pretty good goal from Toby Green.
That is.
Hey, Hutch, the Giants were really poor. You were there in that first half, and it just seems every now and then they have these lapses, don't they? We thought they'd possibly grown out of them. Still a young team, but we thought being finals bound they'd grow out of them. But on yesterday's form, you'd reckon they'll miss out now.
First sellout in Canberra, mini-final, team competing. They were uncompetitive for most of the game. Their most disappointing effort of the year for mine.
Another highlight for Geelong yesterday was the misses by Stephen Johnson. Let's have a look at here. He's still stuck on 440 goals. Look at that. Yeah, not Aaron, his misses. This is misses on the ground here. So he snaps around the corner. He's still stuck mark on 440 goals.
This is the highlight, Bill.
He's still the 4th in the all-time goal-kicking records here at Geelong.
This is the best
Look
one.
at this one. He's got a goal here, but Kel runs past.
Hey, do you reckon your record is weighing on him, Bill?
Oh, no. No doubt. It is. He's got the curse. And I'm telling you, he'll get a hammy or something early next week. And that's
He's
it.
one behind you, Bill.
Yes,
441.
he is. And he has been for 3 weeks. Sucked in.
Right, things that caught your eye, Bill, kick us off.
Oh, mate, let me tell you, I love the goal umpires. They're not sure what they're eating now, but they're tough. Have a look at this yesterday. Tough, tough, tough. He gets, look at that, jumped on everything, but still makes a decision. Look at Steve-O arguing, by the way. You got Stevie J come in here and argue, but look at him. He makes a decision on the line, down on his haunches. Well done, goal umpires. Look at Steve-O.
Little short, sharp one from me, Hutchie. Caught my eye during. They were very accepting over in Perth, and especially at their press conferences. They've got a come one, come all policy, but you've got to draw the line somewhere. Have a look at our fella here on the right.
Oh, no.
It looks like he's been walking around the desert, even carrying a press conference.
Has he got bare feet on?
Put some shoes on, mate. Come on.
It's like Happy Gilmore's
maybe have a
caddy.
shower and a shave too.
Looks like he's a Burning Man.
Hey, Troy Chaplin last night, yesterday, played his 200th game, took his kids out. Let's take a look at Troy taking his son through the banner. He's, you got to protect your son. Put your back to it. Nearly takes the son's head off.
Chappy.
Right? So the little fella was in tears straight afterwards. That's probably calmer a little bit for what happened late in the game for him. But anyway, it could have been worse. Let's take a look at another one. A few years previous. Watch the background, which tries to take a grab. Tries to take a one-hand at this bloke.
That's Luke Hall.
And drops his son. What's his?
That's Luke.
Lordy, that kid was okay, by the way.
Yeah, he was. That's right.
clarified
That's why I've got it on there.
One of the turning points yesterday was the water bottle incident. This is what Ross Lyon had to say about it after the game when he was asked.
Would you make a 50-metre penalty for Dusty squirting water at an opposition player?
What would you like me to get up and just squirt you? What would you do?
I'm not sure.
It's probably not appropriate, is it? I think that sums it up.
Settle down, Ross. I know you're angry with Lloydie, but this is how disappointing it'd be if you got a water bottle in the face. How disappointing is it, Hutch?
Big build-up. Yeah. Well done. That's the end of a pretty unfunny segment. There's a lot more to come. Who is to come? Hamish Hartlett and Ivan Maric still to come on your Sunday Footy Show.
We needed water, mate.
Somehow they got over the line narrowly again last night. They're back kicking big scores and playing fast footy, Matthew Lloyd.
They are, Hutchie, 20 goals, 9. So good return there. Paddy Ryder, 4 goals. Spoken about him. Wingard didn't have the best game, but still contributed 3 goals along with Jay Schultz. Boak was solid again. Wines and Broadbent across half-back. And hooker, Langford Danaher. Few hookers doing a great job forward. He was impressive as well. But Hamish Hartlett, one of the prime movers for the Port Adelaide midfield, joins us. Hamish, welcome.
Thanks,
what did you make of last night's win? As Hutchie said, 20 goals, but still leaked a lot yourselves. So what did you make of the win?
Yeah, I think it was pretty similar to the week before as well. We've been kicking some pretty good scores the last couple of weeks, but as you mentioned, just leaking a few too many for our liking. So just an area of the game we've got to tidy up on.
You're now 7 wins and 9 losses. You've got to do a lot right to make it. You've still got to play Hawthorn and Fremantle in the run home. Where's it gone wrong, in your opinion, for Port Adelaide this year?
Yeah, it's a question that's been asked a little bit the last couple of weeks, and you know, from week to week, there's just been a different issue, you know, and that's probably been the most frustrating part. There's just lacked some consistency in our game as a whole, and I think some individuals probably haven't been as consistent as we would have liked as well.
As a defensive unit, does it concern you how big, I guess, goals you let in? Because there's only been 4 games this year where both sides kicked 100 points. Port Adelaide's been involved in 3 of them. We love the way you play. It's exciting, but I'd imagine Kenny would want to stop those goals coming in.
Yeah, no doubt. It's, you know, since Kenny's come to the club a couple of years ago, it's been a huge focus of ours to you know, concentrate on our defence, and I think, you know, last year and the year prior to that we were pretty good in that area, but just this year we, like I say, we haven't sort of gelled together real well as a group collectively, particularly in the defensive area. And you know, like Lloydie said, we've still got 7 games to go, so still plenty of work to do in that area, but we'll try and tidy that up as soon as we can.
Would you describe him as a really offensive coach, though? I mean, there's been so much talk, especially in the last month or so, of low scores and dour affairs and unwatchable games. You've had a few coaches. Would you describe Kenny as I guess, placing a lot of emphasis on scoring as well?
Oh, look, no doubt Kenny encourages us to take the game on as much as we can. You know, he knows the type of footy that we like to play as players, which is really fast and really exciting. We've got the players that allow us to do that, but you know, certainly his emphasis since he's come to the footy club has been all about defence, and we really bought in early, but I think we'll probably just let that slip this season in particular.
There was a lot of talk last year about your fast finishing and you being the fittest side. The last 2 weeks you've had massive last quarters. You had 8 goals again last night. So is it an element of, you know, that's never left, but just other sides perhaps, you know, spending a lot more time with you at the start of the year? But you've obviously still got a lot of confidence in your fitness and running ability.
Yeah, I think, you know, naturally we've got a really good running group. Really fit, and you know, the last couple of years and even still this year we've been able to prove that, and I think our last quarters for the whole season have been quite good. It's just our third quarter, I think, that's been the one that's let us down a little bit, but we've still got full belief in our running ability, and you know, we're certain they can get us over the line from time to time.
Everybody started the year slowly at your footy club, Chad Wingard included, but the last 10 games, if you had have just had those 10 games isolated, he actually leads the competition for goal kicking, which is an amazing effort.
Yeah, it's incredible. You know, we've seen some of the things that Chatty can do since his time in the AFL, and he's a special player to have in his side, and we saw that grab he almost took last night, which is incredible. But yeah, I think Boki mentioned that to me this morning, that you know, his last 10 games kicked the most goals in the competition, so he doesn't need to have, you know, too many disposals to have an impact on a game, and he's been doing that really well.
We've spoken a bit about Paddy Ryder. Hammond, we saw him there in the highlights. Always tough coming up against your old team for the first time. How did he handle it, and how was he after the game?
Oh, look, he was pretty happy, obviously, that we got the win after the game, and that he had a contribution. You know, he kicked 3 really crucial goals late in the game, and almost single-handedly won us the game, I think, with those goals. So, no, he was really happy. He copped a little bit of flack from some of the Essendon boys, which he probably expected, and a little bit from the crowd as well.
What did they say to him on the night during the game? Was it
chewy on your boot?
Was it constant?
Yeah, look. Nothing sort of derogatory or you know, that was really going to cut to the core. I think BJ had a few words to say to him about leaving his former club, which I thought was pretty interesting. But yeah, but other than that, I think the crowd more than anything was sort of getting stuck in.
Was it all fair enough, or did you take a bit of offence on his behalf?
No, it was all fair, and even. I think he said Dyson and Big Joey Danaher were coming up and having a bit of a laugh and a push and shove with him. So it was all in pretty good spirits.
Hey, one last one on Port Adelaide. Can you look back now and think maybe we got ahead of ourselves after last year, or do you believe that the competition's come after you and you've suffered as a result of that lack of confidence? So what do you think it was? Did you think you were better than you were and got ahead of yourselves, you think, at all?
Oh, look, I don't think so. I don't think it's in any of our nature, and particularly not in Ken's nature, to be that way. So I think it's more so the latter, that teams have certainly seemed to be a lot fitter this year, and they're certainly coming after us, and we know that we're a target, and teams get pretty excited and pretty pumped up when they play against us. So I think it's more so the latter, and the other teams have improved pretty significantly.
Different players do different things pre-game. Some bash their heads on the locker, some listen to music, some juggle. What's going on here? Join and see. This is not bad, actually. Pretty good. Do you do any of this?
Nah, look, to be honest, I think the boys knew that the cameras were on them, I reckon. And that's the first time I've ever seen them do that, those 2 boys. So.
Oh, look at this.
It's not bad, though, is it?
That's pretty
actually all right.
They join the circus.
Do kids' parties, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Plenty of cash there on the side.
You do get involved with some of the Port Adelaide fans too, Bill. I remember a little bit of work you did over here in the stands.
Goal greaser. Looks like someone else on the panel more so than me.
There we go.
Look at that. I was a bit behind in that one, but I did. The fans love that. Karaoke, while we're talking about music, are you a good singer, Hamish?
I sort of rate myself a little bit when I'm by myself, but no one else seems to.
Got the boy band haircut.
Yeah, there's a bit going on.
You look like a boy band. Let's have a look at your hair. Here's a grab of your mate.
That is pretty good.
That's good, wasn't it?
Very good.
And what's great about it is the crowd got behind you. You were on right there, a bit like this man in New York. He got him right behind him.
Oh, look at him bouncing.
Cut him.
You're sitting there, Chris Cross, mate.
Oh, God,
That's disgusting.
Here, wait for the hat. Here it comes. Where's the hat? Here it comes. Here it goes.
Oh, yeah, so that was I didn't mind it. Hutch, you're into it. Just like this man. Oh, no, this one was awkward. This was awkward. This was Nathan Brown singing karaoke.
Land, a fighting fury
Oh,
went
no.
from Tiger
Oh.
Land.
All that natural chemistry.
Whether you'll see us with a
He's painted on.
risking head and shin. Hey, wearing tight in a right.
Oh, no. It's a bit better than...
I did forget the words, actually.
He didn't sing a lot in his career,
No,
so...
he didn't. He didn't.
Better than the Eurovision
What
stuff,
about
Yes.
you two?
Yep.
Next week, Bill.
Yep.
You two have a sing-off next week. on the show.
Karaoke off.
Who, Hamish and I?
No, you and Nathan.
We're
Brown.
gonna get him back,
on the
are we?
show next week.
No.
And Twitter, we want the Twitter
I
all
like
our
it.
followers to get involved on at Sun Footy Show. Who do you think would win the sing-off next
And
week?
recommend a song
And
too.
recommend a song for them both.
please.
You're up
Pick
for
our
it?
own songs.
You're up for it, Brownie?
Yep. I'm
Hutchie?
up for it.
Oh,
Pick
Hutchie.
our own songs.
Anything to get this man on television, he'll do.
Yeah,
Pick our own
Hutchie.
songs.
You've seen some of the stuff he does on the
Oh,
Today
no,
Show.
he's up for it. You up for it? Or?
I don't know what to lower myself to his level.
Okay, all right. Well,
Oh, you
I'll
sing
think-
a-
I'll
you
think-
can sing a Meatloaf song.
I'll think about it on the show. I'll think about it.
How good Ollie Wines yesterday? Before we go to the votes, how good was Ollie Wines?
Yeah, he's been incredible. Ever since he stepped foot in this, footy club, he just crashes and bashes, and I think we lost him for a little period throughout the start of the season with injury, and since he's been back, he's been pretty significant for us, and he's just that big presence that we need inside. We haven't got too many really
Yesterday,
big boys in there.
Best on ground.
Clearance
Yeah,
machine.
yeah, just the work he does inside, and he dishes the ball out, and he just every game, week after week, he's just doing those sorts of things, and we love him for that.
Right, let's have a look at the votes. Lordo
they've
from
set me up
yesterday.
here. 8 marks, 3 goals, 2.
Lordo.
And Paddy Ryder's last. You did last. I was there, and I didn't feel like Wines was in the best
Essendon
ball.
got under your skin a bit this year. You've got your black and red sort of scarf on again.
It was a pretty even game.
2
mate.
votes out of 4 for the
It
Bombers.
was a very even game.
No, Ollie Wines was not better on the ground than Hooker
Personally,
or O'Brien.
I thought Collingwood he was best on ground a few weeks ago. Brown.
No, it's not about me, mate.
I know,
These are your
but,
votes.
this is my votes, and I backed them in.
We're leaving ourselves open to sort of legal action here. If he misses out on a car, by
Yeah,
18
it'll end up in the small claims tribunal or something.
Yeah, Suzu.
I'll tell you what, you will win, but Hamlo, that's for you for only $39.99. And Nana Judy, they are very cool clothing brand there, $150 voucher there, thanks to Nana Judy. All for you, mate.
It's beautiful. I think I actually flicked out a tweet to Aquila on Mad Monday last year asking for a pair of wheels, so I'm pretty pumped.
Did you
with
really?
that. It's good.
Did you get a response?
Yeah, nah.
They go quick around here, the Quillers, don't worry about that. But, I'm sure we'll sort that for you, the prize. Well done.
Good on you,
Hamish
boys.
Hartlett joining us on the Sunday Footy Show. Time for the Chemist Warehouse injury report. Here's the national one, Nathan Brown.
Matty Spanger's up first touch. He's going to be on the show. He's done his hamstring, felt his hamstring in the second quarter, set out the second half. Expect to miss 1 to 2 weeks, so we'll ask him very shortly when he comes in to see the show. Reece Palmer also hamstring. Copped a corked hamstring early in the game, was subbed out. Be touch and go for next week, a nasty one. Sean Hampson, ankle, was subbed out straight away. Fell on his ankle. He was playing some pretty good football before this. He'll have scans to determine the damage, but looks like a pretty nasty one. And Ben Howlett, knee, was subbed out in the third quarter, the knee complaint. He'll have scans to see if he is available next week, but it looks doubtful.
Thanks, Nash. Hold on, let me give a bit of thought to that sing-off, because you're the worst singer I've ever seen. So if I could beat anyone, it'd be you. We'll give it some thought. Big Ivan Marriage will join us next, and Matty Spanger still to come on your Sunday Footy Show. They love him out there, don't they?
Oh,
They
mate.
do. Yeah.
He's a good man.
Everyone does. He's a
That's a
ripper.
good effort,
It
isn't
is.
it? Be a president
Contributing to local soccer.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
How good was that facility, by the way?
Oh, mate.
Sensational.
Paid by all cash.
Time to move on to Brisbane and North Melbourne last night. It was a big game of football, William Brownless and Brendan Harvey's 400th.
I don't think it was all cash, by the way. No, look, it's all about Boom Boom. He was a star, 400 game. There's only 4 of them in the elite squad now. Brisbane only kicking 5 goals. But Drew Petrie was a man, of course, who had a week off last week. He started really, really well, kicking a couple of goals early, and they kicked 5 goals to 1 in that first quarter, and virtually the game was all over. North's first win at the Gabba in 10 years, which is unbelievable, Lukey Ball.
Yeah, Bill, Beams and Hanley pulled out before the game. That wasn't going to help at all, was it?
Very good point, mate. 2 huge outs. Your 2 best players probably, Pierce Hanley and Dane Beams, pulling out before the siren went. So that's a big outs there. But Big Drew, he started well. He was fantastic. Cunnington was very good. He's had a really good 5, 6, 7 weeks there. And they continued winning. It's unbelievable. Boomer has won every milestone game from 50 through to 400. And they won by 72 points in the end. Todd Goldstein wasn't as influential as he has been the last few weeks. Got double teamed last night by Martin and Leuenberger, who did a pretty good job on Big Toddles, but it was all over pretty much. They had a good second quarter, Brisbane, where they came back, fought back a little bit, but scrappy sort of a game, and it took North probably to three-quarter time to blow them away in the last of 7 goals. There's Boomer's first goal there, and then he kicks one.
Will they make it now, the finals, the Kangaroos?
I think they can, yeah.
Great draw.
Yeah, really good draw.
They deserve to make it?
Yeah, I think so.
Here he is here, late in the game. Look at this, last quarter. And boom. I think they are. Yeah, they'll make the 8, and they deserve it.
You just don't know what they're capable of. I think that with a full team coming in off the back of some big wins, they got Carlton this week. They'll get the points again. What's the votes, Bill? Yeah,
Big Drewy, Nick Del Santa has been very good for him, Cunnington. And Boomer just slips in there. He had 16 touches early. It was very, very good early for the Kangas. Well done to Boomer. You're a star.
Matt Spanger, Lockie Neal and more still coming your way on your Sunday Footy Show. For Home Timber and Hardware, go where the tradies go. You're watching the Sunday Footy Show. Home Timber, there you go, homehardware.com.au, our wonderful partners of the Sunday Footy Show. Friday night was disappointing. It was a shocker for the Blues. They got belted. They kicked 4 goals 11 against the Hawks, 27 goals 11. It's an unprecedented run of form for the Hawks, Luke Ball.
They're great to watch, Hutch.
The competition is shocked.
It was showtime. Jack Gunston kicked 6. Just a different guy bobs up every week. The same old hands in the possessions, though. Lewis Mitchell Hodge. Mark Murphy battled really hard. Bit of a one-man show in his 200th game. It was a great effort. But we're joined by one of the cult figures down at the Hawks, Hutch. And do you want to introduce him?
Well, you can't have a man a ground of Spanger.
Very good. Unfortunately, though, didn't finish the game the other night. Matt, we'll start off. Here is the Hemi.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Look, it's one of those things. I'll have a chat with the medicos when I get back in the club tomorrow, but it doesn't feel too bad, but I would dare say I'd probably miss this week at least.
We're talking off air. Not great timing considering the form of the team, and also clearly we're heading towards the pointy end of the season, but I guess that's a good problem for your club to have at the moment.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of the strengths of our list is that, you know, there's quite a good number of players who can come in and play a role for the side, and as you said, not great timing, but at the moment we're lucky that we've got some players coming back next week, so it should be right.
You were subbed off early, unfortunately. Did you enjoy sitting back on the bench and watching a team play like that? Do you sometimes sit back and watch in awe at the way that some of your teammates play?
Yeah, I was sitting on the bench next to Big Monkey, our ruck coach, and it was, you know, as far as if you're going to miss half a game, it wasn't a bad one to watch. So the boys were in good form, and it was quite entertaining.
Could you ever get your head around the Wayne Carey comments about Sam Mitchell?
Yeah, no, I found out when I came off the ground and Mitch was having a bit of a laugh about it. But, I mean, it's for me, I see Mitch work harder than everyone and he's quick with his mind more than anything. So it's quite strange. But, Duck's entitled to his own comments.
Sorry? Sit up, don't lean across the shot like that.
Yeah. I just didn't read the rundown.
Respect for our guest. Do you want to recap what Wayne Carey had to say before we get into it a bit further? This is what he had to say on Friday Night Football about Sam Mitchell.
Just having a look at Sam Mitchell healing. I want to ask you a question. Would he get a game at any other club? Now,
all 17 other clubs.
He would get a game. I think he's a champion of this club, but the fact that he's pace in and around the footy, I think that's why he's still such a good player, because they're such a good team. I think in any other team, his pace would be a concern.
Duck, no.
I think the people that got Duck, where Duck got people offside, were saying, would he get a game in 17 other teams? I think Duck maybe could have questioned, is he good defensively? Yeah.
I think what he meant to say, he mightn't be able to play like the way he does at other teams.
That's right.
But he's an absolute, he's a champion player.
But just didn't get it across the way he wanted Duck, I don't think. Spank, where does he sit in regard? You've been at West Coast, you've been at Sydney, and you've been at Hawthorn, 3 powerful clubs. Where does Mitchell sit for you in sort of complete midfield?
Mitch is right up there. I think the fact that he can get the most out of himself, probably more than most midfielders I've come across, is amazing. But he is so smart. off the ball especially. And then, I mean, Duck sort of mentioned that he's might not have the pace, but he makes up for it in so many other ways. So for me, he's one of the greats, and I love playing with him.
You can be too unselfish out there, I reckon. You just pass it around, you give it to each other, even close to goals. You just pass it off all the time.
Yeah, it's, I suppose, something we've worked on, and you always try and take the shot at goal from the best spot on the ground possible. It looks good when it comes off, but sometimes if it doesn't, the crowd might think differently. But no, that's the way we want to play, and we're going to keep going on that.
Luke Darcy called it a PR disaster for the game on Friday night. It was hard to argue with because Carlton were uncompetitive. I think Alistair Clarkson even said it was a poor preparation for Richmond, and there's only 26,000 there. It was an eerie night at the football, wasn't it? You're used to playing in front of big crowds. Is it reflective on the state of the game, do you think, Matt, or do you think it was reflective more on where Carlton sit?
Oh, it was probably a bit of both, and also, I mean, let's not forget that the soccer was on as well. It probably might have drawn a few away from the game, but I mean, we can't do much about the crowd as players, so we go out there. We've got a job to do regardless. So, as far as the PR disaster that Dust is referring to, it's not too much of a concern of ours.
What is wrong with the game, you boys think? Just one thing, if you could change one thing, or do you leave it as is?
Yeah, I mean, I think certain rules, interpretations can be probably policed a little bit tighter, but I think July every year, and I haven't gone back, but I reckon this month of footy is always up and down a bit. There's always blowouts. There's sides that are struggling down the bottom, starting to look forwards towards the end of the year, and there's other sides that are trying to sharpen up for the finals. So there's always blowouts this time of year. So for me, the season might be a bit long, Bill.
Well, I reckon there's only two teams at the moment that you're going to get plenty of scoring with. That's West Coast Eagles and Hawthorns. I want to ask you, because I thought Carlton just were rattled with not knowing how to move the ball on the weekend because of the zone you had behind the ball. How long does something like that take to learn for a player? Because you guys were exceptional at it the other night.
Yeah, well, for us, I mean, it's probably something that Clark has been implementing from way back. 2008 days, he was sort of one who sort of pioneered that style of football. And as a new player came to the system a few years ago, you train straight away. That's how we play, and that's how we team defence, and just go from there basically. And so, I mean, Carlton we're actually quite competitive at the contest, I thought, but then we probably got them on the outside a bit.
This might sound like a dumb question. Do you always know defensively where you have to run, or is it complex enough where you need to be sometimes taught where to run?
Oh, not always. You certainly have to rely on your teammates. There's communication on the field. If everyone might be in the wrong spot at some certain stage, but for the most part, we work on it, and that's it's part of our training.
And you're doing a bit of media. It's good to see now that you're injured. You're getting behind the camera and asking a few questions. We saw you over there with Adam Simpson over in Perth. Look at you there. You could have put some shoes on. Gee whiz.
Yeah, I saw that during the week. I didn't mind that one. That was very good. Simo asked me a few hard questions.
Now, boys, I'm going to find out, because there's what's wrong with this game, because there's a game going on now just over here at Etihad Stadium, Western Bulldogs and Collingwood. I'm a man of the people. You'd be no good. You're too aloof, and you wouldn't talk to them, and you two don't talk. So I'm going to go over and ask some questions about what is wrong with our game to the people who should know, the supporters. So that's what I'm doing.
All right, Bill. Okay.
It's good on you, mate. You got prizes. All the best. Have a haircut and good luck.
We go to the votes.
We'll go to the votes in the weekend.
We'll go to the
Yes,
votes.
please.
You could have about 16 or 17 Hawthorn players could have gotten the votes, but Lewis set the game up with his first quarter. Gunston kicked 6. Billy Hartung is staking a claim for a permanent spot in the side, and the skipper just did his thing again.
Matty, thanks for coming in. You get all the prizes. We'll even throw in a set of thongs as well for your next press conference.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, Matty, and we appreciate it. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Matty Spanger joining us from the Hawks. The Adelaide and Suns.
The Lynch 3 to Dixon, but Hutchie, you're right. They're much more competitive now. Tom Lynch, he's one of the stars of the competition. We're talking about Charlie Dixon, this man, and what he might be worth. Clubs willing to throw 700, 800,000 at him, but Tom Lynch, they say he could be the next captain of the Gold Coast Suns. That's how highly they rate him. So they're really competitive. That's Laird there. I want to talk about him later on. He's been phenomenal this year, Rory Laird. Cameron, the smalls got hold of him though, Bully. 4 goals to Charlie Cameron, 3 to Eddie Betts. That was a real factor in the game.
Well, it seems to be the area that's going to propel them into a finals series. Lloydie, on yesterday's form, do they get in? It's a pretty sort of tight log jam around the middle there, but can they get in?
I like the Crows. I really like them, considering what they have been through. To go to Perth, you know, they got belted there as you'd expect after what they've been through. But to beat Port Adelaide and now Gold Coast, I think their draw is pretty favourable.
They definitely make it now. They've got Sydney next week, which is a huge game for them, and if they beat them, 2 points off top 4.
Round 23, they played Geelong. We know that they split the points a couple of weeks ago. That could be for a spot in the finals. But they do have enough star power, I reckon, Gordy. How was Paddy Dangerfield just said?
No, fantastic. You'll see him in the boats. There he was. But Lever, Hutchie, you like him. He's also a star that they've found. Laird, who I just touched on. Richard Douglas is back to his
How many 19-year-old key backs having mid-20 touches?
Not many, but
where is he in the votes?
He's not in the votes because there's just too many of them. I think Tom Lynch was one of the ones I wanted to have in there, but couldn't. But Laird, 30-odd disposals off the back flank. Dangerfield, Bennell with his 39, and Jacobs is dominating the ruck.
Better balance of goals now. Earlier in the year, 2 relying on Eddie Betts and Tex Walker. Now they've got 10, 11, 12 goal kickers.
Yeah. We're going to get outside and speak to Bill Brownless next on the Sunday Footy Show. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. Don't forget the Footy Show is back Thursday night at 8:30. And Stevie J, with the tension building over whether he can break Bill Brownless's 441 goal record, he's one shy. He'll be along for the ride on Thursday at 8:30. And of course, don't forget Dave Hughes too, the top rating all-conquering Footy Show in great form. And Home Timber and Hardware, don't forget, proud partner of the program. Yeah, there you go, homehardware.com.au. And this winter, put the hard back into hardware with Home Timber and Hardware's winter maintenance catalogue, packed with a range of hot deals to tackle any cold weather job. Go down to your local Home Timber and Hardware store and pick yourself up some winter bargains. Go where the tradies go, Home Timber and Hardware. Right, let's get into the game from yesterday. It's the Cats and the Giants. And the Cats were out of the gates really quickly on the back of Steve Motlop.
Yeah, it didn't reach any great heights, this one, Hutchie, as we said, which was a shame for the record crowd up there at Manuka Oval, 14,500. But the Cats were too good. Their defence was great. Their team defence was great. They employed a bit of a West Coast Eagles-style team defence, Brownie, which really played into their hands with their smart defenders back there, and Taylor, Lonigan, Enright, Kelly, Mackie, all played pretty good games. But it was this bloke here, Stevie Motlop, who lit the game up in the first half with his pace and speed, and really didn't have an opponent for a while there. And Tom Hawkins, as we said earlier, was just a bit too big and strong for his Giants opponents. And of course stuck to his task, but pretty ordinary in the first half. The Giants, Brownie, they lifted a bit. They evened up the stats in the second half, but the damage was done at the half time.
I mentioned it earlier. It was being there yesterday. It was really unusual to see him left on his own for 15-20 minutes. Have you had his timing in, Leon? Would he have thought that a little differently?
Probably not. And even when he started winning the ball in the first quarter, you felt like they might send someone to him and play a bit of a tight shutdown role. Cornelio had
he went late.
The tagging role on Selwood early, but they also seemed a forward short too, Hutch up there. I don't know what you thought, but leaving Cam McCarthy out, not replacing with a like for like, it looked like that Taylor had Cameron under control, and their next best option was Toby Green. So they really struggled to hit the scoreboard when they went inside 50, Brownie.
They've set themselves up nicely now, the Cats. They've beaten 2 other potential finalists in the last 2 weeks in the Bulldogs and GWS. They play Brisbane next week, so you have to think they'll win that. They're only 2 points outside the top 8. If they do make that top 8, there's going to be a few clubs above them wary of Geelong's power come
Plenty
September.
of finals experience.
They've got a tough draw after that, though.
Yeah, they do. They come home pretty strong. But Stevie Motlop and Tom Hawkins, clearly the best 2 on the ground. Harry Taylor and Corey Enright controlled things from the back half.
Thanks very much to Luke Ball. The Sunday agenda now. Here's Damien Barrett.
Thank you, Hutchie. Richmond's Bashar Hooley has this morning spoken about the botched kick-in of his yesterday at the MCG, telling Channel 9 News' Ed Woolley that it was a brain freeze moment.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I guess I went away from the team. Team rules, and I don't know what it was. Just a blank situation that I saw a player free in the middle, and I just chose to pick it, and I knew as I kicked it was the wrong decision. Like I said, there's just it's a mistake. I'll move on. Hopefully everyone accepts that, and most supporters are going to be pretty upset, but it's just about moving on and taking up the next opportunity, which is this Friday night.
Well done to Bashar Hooley there this morning addressing that issue. It's a really good effort to stop and talk to Ed Woolley there. The future of older players in the competition is becoming a big talking point. We touched on Brent Harvey's situation earlier in the show. James Hird here basically rules out Dustin Fletcher from a 2016 perspective, even possibly the rest of 2015. And Chris Scott speaks of the emotion attached to the futures that he's dealing with of several men who are dear to the Geelong Footy Club's heart.
Look, Fletch and I haven't had that conversation that he's definitely not playing, but I wouldn't, you'd have to think it's, close to the end for Fletch, but I'd rather have that conversation before I have it with you in front of the TV cameras. But yeah, if that's okay.
It's not nice. I heard Joel Selwood say during the week he wants them all to play on, and so do I. I'd still love to have Matty Scarlett out there and Gary Ablett, but it's just not the reality. We love them. We all do, and I speak for our supporters as well. We love those guys. But we love the club just a little bit more, and we've got to make sure that we do the right thing. Now, I'm positive that we'll look back and say, we made a mistake here and a mistake there, but it's important that our supporters understand that it's all done on the basis that we're trying to do the best thing by the club.
Chris Scott there, and simultaneous issues for the Cats and the Bombers at the moment. Thanks for that, Damien. Damien Barrett joining us. You can see him again on Thursday night on The Footy Show. Let's get out to the concourse right outside here at Docklands at Channel 9. There's a game on. Well, look at Bill. He's popular already between the Bulldogs and Collingwood. It starts soon. Wilbur, what's happening?
Oh, it's all happening here, Hutchie. Let me tell you, all the fans here, all the Western Bulldogs fans, and all the Collingwood fans are here. Oh. And we're asking the question out here to the people, what's wrong with the game? And I'm going to ask you, sir, what's wrong with our great game?
The umpires.
Don't like them?
Not at all.
Too many free kicks or not enough?
Too many.
Righto. What's wrong with a great game, mate?
Too soft.
Too soft?
Too soft.
No.
Yeah.
What else is wrong with it?
Pretty congested.
Yeah, we've got to open it up a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, there you go. There's words of wisdom there. But I know I just asked about that, but I want to ask about the Sunday Footy Show panel. So I'm going to go around and ask about all you boys on the panel. I want to ask about Bawley. What do you think about Bawley on the panel?
Oh, yeah, Jason Ball, pretty good bloke.
Oh, bang, we're away. What about Matty Lloyd? Do you like Matty Lloyd?
Oh, he's all right. He's probably a bit happy at Danaher's kicking goals now.
Oh, he is a lot happier. Yeah. Good point. So you'll pick that up, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Good.
What about Craig Hutchison? Would you date Craig Hutchison?
Why not?
Oh. You would?
Why not?
I said, would you date Craig Hutchison? Oh, there you go, Hutchie. I'll get a number for you, buddy. Don't worry about that. And Nath Brown, of course, up there on the end. Do you see Nath Brown as a Western Bulldogs player?
No, mate, no. He left for all the money.
He did?
Yeah,
Oh. See, the Bulldogs, that's not fair, is it? He's one of the greats of the ball. Who loves Nathan Brown here? All right, then we might move on. But no, big crowd. Look at this. All the mad Collingwood fans. Cheer and make sure your teeth stay in. Here we go.
Good on you, Bill. Bill Brownless out in the concourse.
He had all. You might be heading out of the concourse.
Beggars can't be choosers, Lord. He had all week to write those jokes for the fans. Bill, we're trying to do the rounds. Shocking effort, but all under Billy out on the concourse. We've got a big show ahead. Lockie Neal still to join us from the Fremantle Dockers. Looking forward to getting inside one of the great stories of the Fremantle Dockers in Matthew Lloyd's Virgin Australian All-Australian team, one of the success stars of the Dockers. Lockie Neal is up next on your Sunday Footy Show. Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show. A taste of September.
Ellis was great for the Tigers, and so too was a big man of Van Marriage. But a man on my right who's in Matthew Lloyd's rolling All-Australian side, Lockie Neal. Congratulations, mate, on yesterday's win. It was a pulsating contest at the end. How did it unfold?
Yeah, we were pretty scrappy early, but then, yeah, like you said, in the last quarter we found a way, and I suppose that's what good teams do. But Richmond are a really good side. I think there was a stat that I heard they've won 15 of their last 20 or something. So to come over here and beat a quality side was good. But our method probably wasn't great, but our effort was there and got the job done in the end.
One man who was cool, calm and collected was David Mundy at the end of the game. You had full confidence.
Then if I had I wouldn't have made the distance.
Were you surprised it came straight? Would have almost been ruled out, wouldn't it, as a defensive unit, that the ball would have gone to the boundary?
Oh, yeah, sorry, with the kick in, look, I'm sure Basher knows he made a mistake, but lucky for us because won us the game in the end.
Mundy also had a kick after the siren last year down at the Cattery, and so he would have had that rolling in his head. It is here, but unbelievable mental application yesterday, knowing that this one happened last year to get the job done. That's a beautiful kick, but it's just missed.
Yeah, David, he probably doesn't dwell on those sort of things, and he would have moved on pretty quickly, so Mitch Duncan's pretty happy with the win.
It's hard to kick him after the Sorrows too, boys. We all know. Special breed, mental toughness, Lockie.
Hey, Lockie, it must have been good, though, to come to the MCG, beat a potential top 4 side, because although you are on top of the ladder and going really well, there has been some question marks here in Melbourne about how well the Dockers are travelling.
Yeah, it is good to get the win over here, and I think we only play here twice, so I don't think we play here again until finals, hopefully. So it is good to get over here and beat a quality side, and like I said before, we weren't perfect and our ball movement was pretty scrappy, but overall I thought our effort was great.
Young Tommy Sheridan stood up yesterday off half-back, 21 possessions. He ran off Chris Newman a couple of times early. Newman was very good also, but a good young player coming through.
Yeah, definitely. Tommy and I were drafted in the same year, and he was our first pick that year, so he's got a lot of talent. It's taken him a few years to break in, but he's been fantastic. I think he kicked a really nice goal. There it is there, and he's been fantastic this year and just keeps growing, and his role in the side is to provide that run off half-back, and he's got great skills.
How was Nat? Nat good?
Nat Fife?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
I
he
didn't
was
see
pretty
it,
quality.
sorry. Yeah, good, all right yesterday?
Pretty good, pretty good. He's always...
yeah, he looked a bit sore. Is he still from that corky, Lockie?
Had a great...
Yeah, I actually don't know, but he seemed to move okay through the game.
He played with Cochin all day, and him and Cochin were very good on each other. They closed down each other's space in the second half particularly, but it was a really good battle. Is it fair to say Richmond...
Didn't know he had a corky.
No, I knew he had a corky, but I'm not sure how he's been feeling with it. So I knew there was a bit of talk that he was pretty sore, but full faith in him.
So is it fair to say Richmond were the better side for most of the day yesterday, but when it counted, you blokes just knew how to win at the end?
Yeah, I think
the pressure every week now with what he's set himself with the standard at the start of this year.
Yeah, he's a pretty cruisy guy, and he's really professional at the club. He doesn't buy into too much of the talk about the Brownlow and how good he is and the best player in the competition and whatnot. He just goes about his business day to day, and he's a fantastic guy to have in the club.
Is he your next captain, you think?
I'm not too sure. I think he's definitely got the qualities to be a captain. When that is, I'm not too sure.
You're flying back straight after the show, Lockie. How are you going with the travel? You're an Adelaide boy originally, so you probably knew that you were going to have to travel a bit, but if you just find you get into a routine, how are you going with coping with a long season, having to travel every second week?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting used to it now. Been in the system 4 years now, and we travel pretty much every second week, so it's just routine. I think if I was at a Melbourne club or something, I'd find it weird that we weren't travelling every second week, so it's just my routine now.
You mentioned the Brownlow. You're going to take some votes off in that fight because you've had an unbelievable year yourself, one of the best midfielders in the competition, and clearly and understandably in Matthew Lloyd's All-Australian team at the moment. Where's your drastic improvement come from to become an elite midfielder?
I think my work inside's improved a lot. My body work and moving my feet around stoppages has been a major focus for me, and Brett Kirk's come to the club over the last few years, and I've worked really closely with him, and he's helped me massively with my inside work, and also being around for a few years now, I've worked on my tank and a little bit more fitter than what I was when I first came to the club.
Hey, Matty Lloyd upset your coach last week, Ross Lyon, and he looks like it carried over to three-quarter time yesterday. What's he saying here? Because this was a good bake. It went for a good 4 minutes.
Yeah, I think with Ross, sometimes he likes to point out some individual things throughout the game. And here he's just pointing out some of our ball movement out of defence was really sloppy, and we were just trying to do too much, too many handballs, not using our forwards that were breaking out as outlets. So he was just reminding us to take those options.
Has he been pretty hard on you individually over the last couple of years? Looks like he's really, not just you, but other young players as well, really makes them earn their spot.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the way to go as well. Every player that comes into Freo now, they've got to buy into what we're about. We've built a really strong culture since Ross has come to the club, and his first year was my first year, so I've worked with him for 4 years now, and he's been fantastic for me. And we have had some really honest discussions and where I need to improve and what I need to do to become a better player, but he's been fantastic.
Well, it's good you said that because, as the boys mentioned, he does watch the Sunday Footy show, and he gave us a clip last week. I'm not sure who this was directed at, but let's take a listen.
Well, to be frank, I saw the garbage on your footy show on Channel 9, and I thought the assumptions made were quite poor. We were just having the discussions where we're at and the steps we took forward, and I just said, when we get down to the rooms, just you have your key points and we can all put it up together and collaborate and have a consistent message to the players. So that's what that was.
What was the garbage? What did we come up with, Ross, on that?
Well, you're on the show, you tell me.
Yeah, I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking you. I can't remember the garbage either. Well, you said
it was animated. What was the discussion?
Yeah.
So I've just clarified it.
I watched it back, the show.
Got a bit self-conscious, did you?
Yeah, I did. And I was wondering if I said anything, but I think all the blame goes down that end.
Was you, Nash?
No, Bill. I don't think acid tongue was the right two words to describe Ross Lyon.
Look, yeah, sorry, Ross.
Hey, what about this? Tell us what...
Sometimes, Brownie, don't go to water.
No, speaking of the great Ross Lyon, Lockie, this is at quarter time yesterday. What does that mean? What's Mr. Squiggle done there?
I'm guessing that he's drawing up options. Where the texter is probably the kicker.
Right.
And the circles that you can see up the top are probably players that we should have kicked to or something, and we're probably over handballing in defence. But
can you remember that at quarter time?
No, I can't actually.
I guess the positive was from last week that Ross Lyon does watch the show. As we have a look at the votes from yesterday, and Dave, very good for the Tigers.
And the Lou Richards medal, the Isuzu D-Max Lou Richards medal leaderboard, Fife on top, the gap closing.
Ooh, yes.
Mitchell, Goldstein, Gaff and Hanbury are the big five, and they're all in line for the Isuzu D-Max Lou Richards medal. And there are 5 in the box seat, by the way, to win one of these brand new Isuzu D-Max utes for a junior AFL club of their choice. Plus, the winner takes home $20,000 for themselves, all thanks to the Isuzu D-Max. One of the most innovative awards in football, to be getting an Isuzu D-Max magnificent to a junior club is a great idea, and well done to the team at Isuzu D-Max. Unfortunately, Lock, no votes for you, but there's been plenty this year, and rest assured you'll be in Matthew Lloyd's best 22, so that's some small comfort. Righto, speaking of which, the Virgin Australia All-Australian team, it's time.
Oh, no.
Here's Matthew Lloyd.
Thanks, Hutchie. It's a very, very strong side this year. And let's take a look at last week's side. And I've made 3 omissions.
There he is.
The back
There he
pocket
is.
Hobbs.
No drama. Safe as a house there.
Lockie, you are the 23rd selected this week. Sirioli is out as well.
You've dropped him.
I've dropped him this week. His teammate David Mundy has gone in. He's had enormous last month on top of his start to the year. Paddy Dangerfield replaces Sirioli. I think he's...
no Rioli again.
Yeah, no Rioli again.
You've had a shocker.
Bruce Laird.
And Rory Laird has come in instead of Homps. Some will say, who's Rory Laird? His numbers this year have been phenomenal. Probably one of the best small defenders, averaging 25 disposals out of the back pocket.
What's Rioli done wrong, and what's Lockie Neal done wrong?
These blokes come over from Fremantle, come on the show. They're never going to come on the show.
Fantastic
Monday, Will.
He's been in the side all year, so he's done nothing wrong. It's just 22 players, Hutchie. It's very difficult.
Who's the coach?
The coach
Ross
at the moment. Yeah, I'd give it to Ross at the moment.
Oh, that's a done.
How do you feel about being dropped by Matthew Lloyd? It's almost a bit insulting, I reckon. You're here, you've had a great year. What do you think?
Nah, to be honest, it's pretty embarrassing to see my name up amongst some of the greats of the game, so I wouldn't expect to be in there.
Caught the later flight back. He stayed just so he can come on the show.
Let us know your thoughts. Hashtag All Australian. That's hashtag All Australian, of course. It's all for the award-winning Velocity Frequent Flyer program. Head to velocityfrequentflyer.com for details on the award-winning program. Lockie, thanks for coming. You'll be back in that team in no time.
Apologies to you.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Lockie Neal joining us on the Sunday Footy Show. And Hawthorn fans, have you got some views on Cyril Rioli at Matthew Lloyd 18 on Twitter? More Sunday Footy Show right after this. This is going to be big on Tuesday night, live at 9 o'clock. Damien Hardwick, after a 5-year hiatus from Footy Classified, returns to the hot scene at an opportune time. Richmond on the march, but of course answers will be needed after that last-minute debacle. Damien Hardwick will be here and live, special night, Tuesday, and live at 9 o'clock. Be watching Footy Classified. The Carlton Premiership reunion this weekend too, Matthew Lloyd.
Yeah, nothing like Premiership reunions, Hutchie. They are fantastic. And Bill, half-time, this one had hurt you. It was against the Cats, but you tried to inspire your mob. 40 points down. Talk us through this incident.
Well, I saw the smallest bloke on the ground, Ange Christo, so I thought I'll have a crack at him because I'd be able to bloody beat him, surely. And guess who comes over? If you take on Christo, Cooter comes out of his bottom. So, mate, they were into me there, and it was all happening. But with 40 points down, I was frustrated. And my good mate Barry Stoneham, who wasn't playing, was walking across the ground from the coach's box, saw that little bit of a blue. He comes in and starts grabbing blokes. Got fined $10,000. He's still not happy with it. It's the only, and after the game, I think Gary Ayres said the best player today for Geelong was a bloke in a suit. And it was Barry.
Time to find a winner at sportsbet.com.au, and CJance is back.
Jensen!
Thanks very much, fellas. Look, punters reckon the Bulldogs are a pretty good bet today against the Pies. They're $2.15 outsiders, Collingwood $1.73 favourites, but punters are all over them. Not much between the Demons and St Kilda. We've got the Saints as slight favourites, $1.89 there, $1.95 to the D's. And the West Coast Eagles, best backside of the round by a long way, $1.36 now to beat the Swans. If you're having a bet in that game on first goal scorer and you miss out on the first goal but your player gets a goal at any stage in the first term, cash back up to $100. Of course, it's Josh Kennedy versus Josh Kennedy. Same but different, right? If either of the Josh Kennedys get 4 or more goals and either of them get 40 more touches, $31. Now, if you think that's pretty tough, Josh Kennedy from the Swans got 41 touches 2 weeks ago, and the Eagles, Josh Kennedy, averages 3.5 goals, so it could go off today. Now, make sure if you want to have a bet with us, just download the app from the App Store. Gamble responsibly, of course, guys. We're hoping the same but different special works a bit better than the same but different Rolex I bought in Thailand a couple of months ago. Gone. True story.
Should be doing a stand up the last laugh on the comedy club or something. Chanso,
like clockwork.
Doing beautiful. He knows what makes us tick, Bill. He's the one to watch.
He did say
$3.25 is good value, the Swans. How long has it been since the game of footy the Swans have been that price?
I couldn't remember it, but no Tippett, no Richards.
They've got a good record in Perth, though.
Yep, I reckon they're a rough chance today.
Good
In Melbourne,
timing.
stick around for Nathan Brown's top rating Future Stars, which is on next. And in Adelaide, you're watching Footy SA. We'll speak to you Tuesday night, special time, Footy Classified at 9 o'clock.